How exciting.
Exciting? I think you mean terrifying.
It's both. We're definitely not all gonna die like last time. I'm still thinking about that one shot. It's so good.
Rachel, this is the second one I have played with you. I have yet to survive in a one shot with you.
We'll see if this is the time.
I don't know if you can hear the echo from Mike's phone out there.
I don't hear it.
Okay.
Oh, Mike, yes, we hear it.
Hello, friends. Hello.
Sounded like he was questioning whether or not we were humans.
Which, you never know. Maybe we'll get to it. What's really?
Leave me alone.
I bet you guess who that was.
Not you, Biggie. I wasn't looking.
Why not both?
I mean, that's fine. Mm-hmm.
Terror, destruction, the like. It will, it will. I'll drink a monster. I don't care if my heart explodes. I have some heart conditions. It probably wouldn't.
It depends on which one you drink.
I got surgery. I can have caffeine now. Just maybe not.
In moderation.
Yes, moderation. Yeah, sometimes you have a cardiac ablation, and that allows you to drink caffeine, get excited, and do exercise again. Woo! Yeah. Oh, my mic is blushing. Stop it.
I just realized what Kurt put his name to.
No, Kurt, we talked about this.
Change it.
Indeed, indeed. It's a tease.
Just a little tease.
Just a little tease. Thank you all for joining. It's about to get better. It's gonna be so good.
Oh no.
Hi, everybody. We're here. We're here, friends. We're here. We are here. As you can see us all. This is a great and wonderful thing. Oh gosh, why are you messing? I just set all the cameras. So you're gonna grab it and move it again?
Yeah,
Why?
You couldn't see my outfit. If I put this on, people get to see it.
The level of rage.
Anyway, hey everybody.
And it looks good on stream.
Hey everybody, welcome on into BlueBox RPG. I am your hostess with the mostest. I am the okayest GM on the planet. My name is Kurt, also known as Covenant, and I am going to be running these wonderful, delightful human beings through a one-shot, possibly?
One shot, one kill. That's what he's going for.
No.
Maybe 1 shot, 3 kills?
3 birds, 1 stone?
Yeah.
I think the cat will eat the stone.
Ooh. But thank you everybody for joining us this evening. This is sure to be one heck of a fun, wild ride. No doubt. Tonight we are playing Vaesen. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Vaesen, this is tales and stories of the Nordic North that never was. This is a kind of Nordic horror by gaslight, candlelight, however you want to put it. It is late 19th century game, and we're exploring all of the myths and mythos around Scandinavia and the northern areas. So we have all kinds of things that could happen, that could be going on for all of them this evening. But first, before we get into all of this, let's go around and introduce everybody. Starting with the one, the only, the one who keeps us all in line, Amanda.
Wait, I knew you were going to start with me.
You're first on the screen!
Hi, I'm Amanda. I'm playing Viola. What else do you want me to say?
Okay, what is your character? Let's go with what is your character? Who is your character's name? A little bit about your character, perhaps?
Viola. That's what her name is.
Well,
but
we've got
she's
that part.
She's a little street urchin, basically. I have hobo sticks, and I like it.
That tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
That's pretty much what I mean.
Okay.
Not much
fair.
to say about her.
I'm here to tell you all that this game would not be happening if it was not for Amanda and her persistence over the last 6 months of saying we need to play a Vaesen game. So now we have one, and here it is. So if you don't like it, you can blame her. And she will ban you. Anyway, next we have Rachel back from last week where she died, and maybe this week she'll live.
Maybe, we'll see. I will be playing Selma of Stad. She is a writer and a little haunted, one might say. She looks as if she has not slept in a couple of days. A little bit of a heaviness about her and how she stands. We'll get into it.
A writer with bags under her eyes. That's not par for the course.
So creative, am I right?
I know, right? It's just... Anyway, and last but certainly not least, rounding out this intrepid trio, we have Biggie. Biggie, who are you playing?
I am playing Varge Larson, aka the Wolf. She is a hunter, young, 19 years old, family no longer around, and she does have her hunting dog with her that, is more like her best friend than people. So
It's understandable. That's understandable. So, a little bit about the world of Vaesen before we begin. Vaesen is a game, like I said, of Nordic horror. One of the things that makes our heroes, for lack of a better term, so unique and special is that they have what is called the sight. Now, the sight allows them to see the Fae, the giants, the trolls, the revenants, all the things that go bump in the night, all the little cryptids, and all the myths of the world. Whereas the average person has something of a delirium almost, and they don't notice things. Those with the sight do. How did they get this sight? Well, this sight is generally brought on by extensive trauma associated with their past. That being said, they can see things that others can't. And because they can, they are a part of the society. The society has several factions within themselves. However, this group is known as the Lantern Society. Their trademark symbol of a lantern shining light upon a path is where we find ourselves. Answering a letter sent to them. Here we go. Let me turn this off real quick. There we go. So you can hear me a little bit better. To the Lantern Society of Oslo, it must be said first and foremost that I am an enlightened man. I am not one prone to superstition or myths of old. However, I write to you under the direst of circumstances. In our town of Roros, we have had several deaths caused by forces that cannot be accounted for. Several members of Arsgard Mining Company have been, what appears to be, crushed near a newly opened mine. Their ends were not by that of a cave-in or a landslide, but crushed nonetheless. These unusual circumstances are why I have written you. It was brought to my attention that the Lantern Society handles things of a peculiar nature. The nature of these deaths and the surrounding events have indeed exceeded my investigative measures. I implore you to come to Roros and help me unravel this mystery, as the longer the mine is shut down, the more the town funds diminish. Enclosed are 3 tickets for the northbound train, as well as an upfront travel cost reimbursement from the Arsgard Mining Company, who would also like to see this matter resolved as soon as possible. Once you arrive in Roros, you can find me near the town center. Please help us. I thank you. Constable August Blackland. You all are at the Lantern House. Having read this missive between the 3 of you, you 3 were called to answer this plea. The Lantern Society is known for gathering those that they feel are best suited for the troubles that lie ahead, and you 3 were chosen. Coming from different backgrounds and different ways, you all have never worked together, and this is your first time in this group. You've been asked and requested to put aside any petty differences, be it theological or station, and solve this particular problem for the mining company. Via the date of the letter and the ticket stamped, your train leaves on the morrow. You have this evening to familiarize yourselves with one another before setting out. The butler, Joffrey, asks, "Do you have any questions before you go?"
Are pets allowed on the train?
But of course pets are allowed on the train.
Good.
Do you have any other questions regarding this particular matter? They have left quite a substantial sum as an upfront reimbursement. Almost 500 crowns.
Nice. No, I don't think I do. As long as my dog can come with, I'm happy.
Have they noted how many have died?
7.
7. You see, she pulls out a little journal and starts scribbling within it. That is many.
Indeed. Well, if you have no further questions, I will have a carriage arranged to pick you up in the morning. You all get a good night's rest, and hopefully we will see you in a few short weeks.
All right.
We can hope.
You spend the rest of the evening packing your things, and the following day you're met with a warm, hearty breakfast, and as you open the door to look outside, the telltale signs of autumn are upon you. The heavy mist surrounds the cobblestone street and this 3-story home. Joffrey says, don't forget your trademark," as you all go to exit, and he hands you each a lantern. "These are more often useful than a burden. Never leave it." You all mount up with your various luggage and items onto the carriage, and the carriage sets off to head to the train station. It takes about 30-ish or so minutes to get you to the train station, and upon there, the very potent smell of burnt charcoal invades your senses. As the train station begins to appear, a haze begins to set over it. You go into this building of glass and steel and look for your train, number 771. You hear the conductor, "All aboard!" You realize you're running a little bit behind.
Oh. We should hurry.
I think so.
Viola,
Snowball.
Picking up my step.
Viola just kind of like leisurely goes along and grabs the pole, like she's used to it. Just watches you guys.
As you two, Selma and Varj,
Yep.
I think I said it right, board the train, the conductor stops Viola. "Oi, no ruffians on the train."
Who you calling ruffian?
"You!"
Sir,
with them.
she is with us. Please, have some respect.
"Ticket?"
Holds out the ticket.
No, he's looking directly at Viola. And he takes it. "All right. Don't steal anything off the train." So you board the train, and you guys are in just a regular traveling car, right? You guys know that it's going to take about a day and a half to get up to where you need to go via train. So you settle in, and as you all settle in, you feel that sudden lurch of the train as it begins to pull, and that chug, 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 chug. The horn blares, and you are on your way. Over the course of the next day and a half, you're taking in the sights. For some of you, this is the first time you've been outside of the city. For others, this is your natural environment. But the train continues to chug along, taking you through the mountains, down passes, over ravines. And as you look out, faintly, in the corners of your eye, you swear you see things. You've steeled yourself to a degree from most of these things, but sometimes they still catch you off guard. As you look out, you notice where industry and innovation has cut its way through some of the most populated lands of those who are seen but not seen. And you can see it almost as a bit of a stain, where one world and another world are colliding. But it continues on. Which one will come out on top? We don't know. The farther north you travel as you go, though, you find those who are still cling to that of the old ways, where the Christian has not yet made its way there. And you see people making offerings, blessing themselves, making homage to the old gods. On the second day, normally right around noonish, you start to see a town set in the valley of two mountains. The train chugs along, and then suddenly the train begins to shudder. You instinctively look outside and look on either side, and you see that you're on a large wooden bridge that is taking you between and over a large section of wood, or of woods. Oddly enough, the train probably could have been on the ground, but these rails are taking you up and over them for some reason.
I scoot back into the corner of the
car begins
cabin that we're in.
The car begins to shake again, as if the bridge itself is shaking. You look out.
Not gonna make it.
You look out and you look around.
It'll be all right.
And the moment you begin to steel yourself for what could amount to be the inevitable, you begin to see land underneath you as the thick trees, start to wisp on either side of you. Looking out from the car, you make slight observations here and there. These woods are occupied. That is most definitely known. By what? You're not entirely sure. After another 40 minutes, you arrive at the train station. The car comes to a lurching stop. The horn blows. The conductor takes you all and ushers you off, and you find yourself a little bit colder, a little bit farther north. While it is fall, you can start to see the very beginnings of frost formulating in some areas. The cold, bitter air biting at your throats as you breathe it in. And a very earthy smell permeates the air. As you look around, you see coal cars being loaded. As these giant mechanical steam-powered machines, looking like something like hands, drop down and grab massive chunks of coal and earth and bring it over and drop it into an empty waiting train car. Over and over. It's loud. It's, very loud. And you see men working this contraption. Steam blowing. And a haze begins to form around it as it's very much engine begins to burn more and more, working this mechanical arm to drop it inside the coal cars. After a short period, you guys find yourselves almost the only ones here, looking around at this train station. People moving around, luggage carts. A small boy comes running up and says, "Well, you need someone to carry your bags? A crown apiece. I'll carry your bags wherever you go."
My dog starts growling.
This little boy who looks a little scuffed up, right? But he's got the unmistakable marks of a miner's son upon him. Looks at the dog, growls back.
Snowball barks at him.
And he says, "What?" And he goes, "I know what to do with you. I know exactly what to do with you." And he reaches behind his back, and he pulls out a small sphere, and he throws it past him. Your dog instinctively looks at you, looks at the ball, looks at you, looks at the ball, looks at you, looks at the ball, like,
Nope.
It lets out a soft. Lets out a soft.
I start petting.
It lets out a soft whimper as the boy's just like, ah, you broke like the rest of them. And he kind of kicks rocks and saunters off a little bit.
Oh, wait, before you go, if you are in need of a job, feel free to carry mine. And I'll hand him one of my bags, give him a coin, and ask, you appear to be a miner's son, correct?
Yeah, what do you got in here?
Oh, many things. Lots of paper, that is for sure. Clothes that might be needed. Investigatory needs, of course, as well. But
you're explaining all of these things, but when you look in his eyes, he doesn't understand a word, but his eyes are reading, that sounds expensive. The stuff in here might be worth money.
Seeing that reaction, Viola just like recognizing it.
Oh yeah.
She grabs the scruff of the back of his cloak
Mm-hmm.
and just takes the bag from him and is like, "Nah, we're good. Off with you."
Fine. And he scampers off and runs off.
oh,
No. And she's gonna hand you back your bag.
thank you. I thought we might be able to get some information out of him.
Well, he thought he could sell your stuff.
Well, we just
He
got raided.
probably could have. Oh, thank you for the raid. Oh, Lord Games, we love you guys.
We love you. Thank you for coming in and saying hello. We are playing Vaesen this evening.
It is great. It is great.
After a short period, you guys gather up your stuff, and there is a small trolley cart for you guys to kind of stack all your stuff on. But where do you go? What do you do?
But we must go to the town center, yes? Find a constable, backlet.
I agree.
Place as any.
Sooner we can get out of this, the better.
Indeed, it is. I've never been to this town before. It is a lot louder than I am used to.
As you begin to make your way through town, right? You can see the very unmistakable signs of industry in this town. You see houses built in the old way, we'll say. But you also see where the industrial age has really started to push into this area. Steam powered this, coal powered that. The sky itself, normally this far out on a normal day, you should see a bright blue sky. However, unfortunately, at this time, you see that of a gray haze as coal burning stoves and various factories are set about their tasks, as the riches of the earth are burned away for the industry of man.
It certainly isn't as pretty as I hoped it would be.
Make a actually, you know what? I feel like somebody needs to make a roll. I really do.
The air tastes nasty.
Make an observation roll.
Any of us? All of us?
Any of you. Okay. We have one. All right. Selma, as you're looking around, you swear at the corner of your eyes you see a slight flutter of wings moving about from the rooftops. But the moment you turn to look, you can't quite make out what it was.
She just keeps it to herself in a nod and continues on.
Okay. All right. So, next, you find yourselves within town center. You look around and you make out what you're pretty sure is the constable's office, but it has a laundry list kind of attached to it. It's the city hall constable's office, deed office. Like, it's, you see this wooden sign kind of like fluttering back and forth, and then you see like this long list of services that this particular building has.
So it is a constable's office, but then there are also many other things attached inside the building.
You kind of get the impression that it's the whole, he's not just the constable, but he's the constable, the notary, the deed officer, the right, like he's right, like he's got like 9 different jobs that he has to do, kind of thing.
Oh boy. And do we see a figure that might resemble a constable?
The door is shut.
Knock on the door.
You are in
gentle rapping.
Gentle rapping, as if somebody was rapping at his constable door.
Yes.
Okay. All right. After a short period, you hear some stumbling and some rushing around, and the door flings open, and you are met with this blonde-haired, green-eyed, tall, slender man who, with a simple peasant shirt on and trousers, like holding a handful of papers, and he pushes up a very small set of glasses, and he's like, can I help you? Who are you?
Yes, we are who you sent for the Lantern Society individuals to investigate the 7 individuals who were crushed.
Oh, yeah, you need the constable.
Do you need help with these
and he
papers?
like turns and he starts walking away or whatever.
I'm gonna try to grab some papers to help so he isn't juggling so much.
You see him go over and he grabs a handle on a chain and he yanks on it twice, and you hear it, the sound of like a bell ringing real hard, right? Small little bell, like clink 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 clink. After a short period, you see descending the stairs this large, hulking brute of a man. And he comes downstairs and he says, "Oh, you are the ones I have summoned. Indeed, thank you for taking us up on this offer. Please, come in. Sven will look after your bags. You're fine. Please."
Thank you.
Come upstairs. As you ascend the stairs to this narrow walkway, like very narrow, like how this guy fits up these stairs, you don't know, right? Because like it would be small, it would be tight for children to make their way up it. As you enter his you can only construe as his office/home, he offers you all a seat and begins making tea. Well, thank you for answering the summons. It has been most distressing. We are, without a doubt, aghast. The miners won't enter the mines anymore. We've had problems of all sorts. Drunken disorderlies. Things just happening. But I assume you are tired from your journey. Please rest. I'm brewing some tea. I am happy to answer any questions you may have at this time. The bulk of what is known for me is enclosed in the letter. The Asgard Mining Company has said that, they wish this matter resolved immediately. We also, I have managed to arrange a meeting, though, with Wilhelm, the mines manager, tomorrow.
I do have a couple of questions, if you do not mind.
Oh, please.
Who were the individuals that were crushed? Were they miners, all of them?
Yes, they were all part of the Asgard team. They were part of the initial push team that went into shaft number 3.
And
They
is that a recent endeavor?
mm, well, not entirely recent. When the property was bought from Liam, albeit underfoot, or I mean under his nose, for lack of a better term, the mine, that area wasn't open for several weeks. They've just recently expanded into it.
This Liam individual, is he someone in town? Someone that we could speak to, perhaps?
He's around, probably well into his drink, to be perfectly honest. It's a bit of a sad case. Wilhelm is his cousin, and when we had a very strong blight that wreaked havoc across all of our crops 4 seasons ago, and because of that, several of the farmers had to take out loans, and the banks foreclosed on those who couldn't come up with the necessary capital to repay the loan, and unfortunately Liam was one such individual. His home, oddly enough, was set right near where shaft 3 is now open.
So did they bury the bodies already?
The permafrost is starting to set in some areas. The bodies have been buried, yes, but our medical doctor is something of an amateur photographer, and so he took several pictures of the bodies, and he has those that we can view. Many of the people here are torn between the Christian and the old ways, and the old ways mandated that the bodies be burned, and then the Christian way demanded that they be buried. So there was a whole issue with that unto itself, and the bodies were interred into the ground by the use of the earth grabber that the Asgard Mining Company so graciously provided the city.
Is that what it is called? An earth grabber?
Yes, it reaches down like the hand of the gods and grabs up the rock and the dirt and moves it over and drops it down. It is.
I've never seen a thing.
It does. It is quite fascinating. It does the work of 100 men all on its own.
Incredible, but not what we are here for.
Yes.
Where can we find this medical doctor?
I have the pictures themselves actually here.
Wonderful.
And he like walks over and he opens a drawer and he pulls out a large packet with like twine wrapped around it and whatnot. And he said, "Here's the report and the photographs." And he sets it down. Though I have to admit, it's rather grueling in some capacities. I do not wish to question your resolve, ladies, but I will say that they are of a rather graphic nature, and I am here to assist you should you find yourself faint at the gruesomeness of these images.
Viola just kind of rolls her eyes.
Thank you for the offer, but I believe at least these two ladies have a fire in their hearts from what I have seen so far.
Well, that's outstanding. Are you hungry? Do you require food?
If you have any to spare, I will not say no. Thank you.
Oh, yes, I was down by the lake just earlier this morning, caught several fish, and you see him go and he grabs a shovel, a small spade full of coal, and he throws it in his coal stove that he has in his home, and he begins to cook up the fish. And once again, that earthy scent begins to permeate your senses. You know what burning coal smells like. This smells like that, only stronger, significantly stronger. And there's a degree of musk almost that comes with it.
Is this scent? I'm not too accustomed with it. Is this normal for this town?
Oh, Wilhelm says himself that this is the richest coal mine he's ever laid eyes on, and he's managed mines all up and down the seaway. He says that this is the richest and purest, and because it's so pure, that is in fact why it has that slightly odd scent to it, I admit. But I mean, this coal was this was part of our ration provided to us by the Osgard Mining Company. Many don't want to admit it, but this town, for what it was once, is slowly becoming what do they call them? I believe a company town.
Oh, I see.
Wilhelm is probably just as powerful as the mayor in many cases.
Well, if you control the source of the town, it only makes sense that you would have power because of it.
But that's not to say he hasn't done wonderful things. Everybody has jobs. Nobody is going without warmth. Even the undesirables, will say, live a fairly good life in the shelters and in the parish homes and such.
I do have another question, if you do not mind.
Please, I am here to answer what questions I can.
The miners that are alive.
Yes.
You said that they have been avoiding going in, understandably due to the deaths, but are there any that we could talk to? See if they've noticed any strange things occurring?
You can check the workers' homes and the bunkhouses.
But you don't know of anybody specific that was working the day of the deaths?
The 7 that were killed were all killed on the same day. They were sent into the shaft to use this new explosive material to blast out some of these holes to get in there to mine further. And as such, they went in, and after about 6 or 7 minutes, there was nothing. They didn't come out. They weren't set to blast. They weren't anything. And so they sent in another crew to go find them. They heard a strange grumbling noise, and then they stumbled upon the bodies, crushed, as if a child picked them up with their hands and just squeezed them.
Interesting.
Good. Is there any type of knowledge check that I could do to see if that sounds familiar to anything that I've read on mythologies and mythos or anything of that sort?
You know what? I will put that as a... Go ahead and give me a learning roll.
Okay. The answer's no.
You've encountered Vaesen before. You know that's why you're here, but you haven't ever encountered anything like that before.
Exciting.
And
worrying.
It's both upsetting, almost, but I'm not quite sure what to make of it.
Is there any other information you two need or want?
How big?
I look right at you and say, you seem to have this well in hand. I'm just shocked.
How big is the opening to the mine?
As tall as 3 men and as wide as 6. A man can stand upright and push a minecart in, no problem whatsoever.
And this shaft number 3, what was the reasoning for opening it up? Was it just to get more material?
Yes, the other 2 shafts have, they said, been depleted. I don't know how they can deplete the earth of the rock, but they said that that they were depleted and no longer worth their time. They didn't find as much of the, what did Wilhelm say, good stuff in them. And so Survey said that they should work on Shaft 3. That was a day, though. That was a very, very interesting day. Liam came out of nowhere. He tried tackling Wilhelm. There was a fist fight. He said he was destroying his land and everything he was sworn to protect and carry on. But it was neither here nor there, I guess. We locked him up for several days. But we had to let him go. Wilhelm didn't press any charges, thinking his cousin just not wanting to accept that he had made a poor choice. I have to admit, Wilhelm was rather callous when it came to that, but it is what it is, I suppose.
What inn would we find Liam at?
You could, well, let's see here. You could probably find him down at Mauritius.
Mauritius.
Just look for the one with it looks like a dead fish on the sign.
I see.
As you're sitting here having this conversation, right? The room begins to feel warm. But it begins to feel warm in a way that something unnatural is happening in the room. It begins to make, it's not unpleasant, but you're used to the heat radiating from the coal stove, right? And so the heat is directional. But as you're sitting here, the room as a whole feels as though the warmth is coming from almost everywhere.
Does he seem to notice?
He's going about his day. He thinks it, for lack of a better term, he doesn't suspect anything, or notice anything. He's going about it as if this is just normal.
Are there windows in?
There are. Yeah,
office?
he's got several of them. Yeah.
If I were to go over and just kind of open one up, does it feel the same temperature outside and in here?
No. The outside's significantly colder, and you can feel that whoosh of heat, right? As it goes out. Okay.
Does the temperature change? Does it feel like the cold seeps in at all?
No, the cold does not seep in, just the heat goes out, right? It's that whole, you can feel, prime example, we all know this, right? Thanksgiving Day, it's cold outside, and you open the window in the kitchen, and there's so much heat in that kitchen that it's only going out. The cold isn't really getting in, so to speak, right? Because the heat's pushing out so much. Make a vigilance check. And you're gonna have a 2 on this one for when it asks for a modifier.
All of us?
Anybody who wishes to. Well, no, you're the only one by the window, right? Is anybody else move towards the window, or do they just stay there?
I'm like facing, I haven't sat down or nothing.
Okay, all right. So if you're near the window, then you would probably have this as well.
So 2.
Yes, you're gonna click down to where it says -2.
Oh, -2.
Yeah, it's your difficulty.
Wrong one.
Yeah,
My
wrong direction.
bad.
Wrong direction. Yep.
-2. Try that again. Ooh,
Okay.
not as good. Am I rolling privately?
No, I see your stuff.
No, I see your stuff.
You see it? Okay, cool.
Yep, I can see your stuff.
Awesome.
Sometimes you need to scroll down to get it to where Roll20 will catch up to what you're doing. So just scroll down on the side.
Got it.
Are you making a check there, Viola?
I was trying to use it in the thing, and maybe I'm not clicking the right thing.
You just click on when you go and you click on the skill vigilance, and it should pop up with a little window. It might be behind your character sheet.
Ah. Oh god.
Yeah, I popped my character sheet out so I can minimize it.
So this is input value.
Mm-hmm.
-2.
-2.
-2.
No, that's not what I put. Thank you.
You had a success.
Oh, let's go!
All right.
Get that vigilance.
Get that vigilance. All right. So as you're pacing back and forth, right, and you hear in the farthest of distance this baritone oh, but it doesn't sound like a ghost. You know what a ghost sounds like. It sounds like the cry of something far off.
Question. Would my dog's ears perk to that or no?
No.
Because it has that investigation.
Mm-hmm. Like, this is at the very, very faintest, right? Like, Viola heard this, right? And it sounds super far and distant.
Do I recognize, like I've heard it before?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay.
Not where you come from.
And the heat, is it building still, or is it just kind of that warm and staying there?
It's warm and staying.
Curious, Kurt, curious. Is it warm in here to you, Constable?
Oh, I think it's just right. It's amazing how the good stuff, as they say, it's amazing. It's, to me, it feels like a perfect summer day. I love it. Not too warm, not too cold. Constant.
Well, if my other friends here do not have any more questions, I believe we should start our journey towards figuring out a solution for your problems.
Don't you want your food?
We could take it on the go.
He legitimately looks confused at that, like, almost like you're suddenly refusing his hospitality.
Can I try to do some type of like manipulation roll to in saying, you know that this is the sooner this is done, the sooner you get more of this precious coal, right?
So, one thing to keep in mind, right? You don't move that fast. Things don't move that fast, right? Like, you look tired, so he's immediately going to be like, you should rest, you should sleep, you should all of these things. You've only just gotten into town. He's trying to figure out why you're ignoring social niceties. Is what he's looking at, right? Why are you ignoring his why are you ignoring his hospitality? Why are you suddenly now you wish to go?
And that explanation does not suit him.
He's not used to it. Think about it. Right? You are a city slicker who just went out into the country, and you just told him we'll take the food on the go, and he's just like, sit down and eat. Like, what are you doing? Like,
what is this to go with food?
Yeah, like he's just like, what do you want me to do? Like, to go, like, and he's just like, he's like, does he just like slop it in your hand? What is he like? This is not the world of Tupperware.
I have a cup. Put some fish in a cup. I'll take it with me.
That's right, ma'am. This is not a Wendy's.
So as you're doing that, I'm gonna start to go through the pictures and look at the pictures.
Oh,
okay.
You guys
we can't take those with us, can we?
Mm-mm.
That was my bad.
So, yeah, he's not going to let you walk around with essentially pictures of dead people in town. Like, that's
sense.
No.
That makes sense.
While
that's
all
valid.
that was going on, that's what I'm doing is going.
So, as you're looking through these pictures, they look. You as a child probably made men out of dirt, little stick men out of dirt, little things like that or whatnot, and then you've crushed them with your hand. You can see where their bodies are contorted in ways, and where every last one of them has the look on their face of unspeakable horror, like their face just was stuck in unspeaking horror as their body was mangled and crushed in on itself. So much so, and with such force, that the body didn't ever reset. And you can see where their flesh and bones would have fit between slots on a finger.
That's why I was hoping the bodies weren't buried. So I'm like, this is not what I was expecting to see.
Some of them are.
As I start handing the pictures around to you guys, and I'm like, I've seen crushed bone. I've seen from like rocks and stuff like that. And this just does not have that feeling to me. And you can see in this picture here where there's like indents in the skin, like something had a hold of it and was crushing it, not like rocks smashed down on it.
I think Selma takes like one look at the image and immediately goes back to the window to throw up.
Viola looks over at you, over your shoulder at it, and can we tell from the photo, like, that there's multiple imprints, so it does look like a hand, or is it just like?
Oh, it very much looks like a hand.
So can we judge, like, how big the hand would have been?
Not definitively through the pictures, because you don't know how tall these men were.
We would have to see the doctor for that.
One thing he does point out, as you get to two of them, right, you see that One of them was actually broken in half. Like his upper torso and his lower body were in pieces, in two separate pieces.
Like they were pulled apart.
I'm getting there. And on the doctor's note, it says it looks like he was used to beat another one. And then you like flip over and you see another dude who's like bruised and battered and beaten and whatnot, right? But he doesn't look crushed. He looks like he was just hit repeatedly over and over and over with something.
You guys notice my demeanor start to change when I see that picture and read what's written. You'd see it goes from I'm curious to I'm starting to get angry. And I kind of sit back and I just kind of put my hands, cross my fingers together, and I sit back and I just start rocking for a second. And I'm literally squeezing my hands together and I'm rocking.
So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to make an empathy roll at a difficulty of 2.
Ooh.
So what that means is you're going to need to get 2 successes on this in order to pass.
So click empathy.
Mm-hmm.
And a difficulty of 2, so it's a -2?
No. Just roll it. But if you don't get 2 successes, right? Because I'm not reducing your die pool. You need 2 successes.
Nope,
with 1.
Oh, close.
You are angered, as this is very triggering for you, as past trauma and memories and feelings begin to swell in the backs of your mind. The sounds of screams, the sounds of bones snapping. So I need you to check angry under mental, as you are now angered. You are doing your best to keep it in check, right? As your stress level rises. But you only have one true way to release that stress. And going and visiting the bar is sounding very tempting right now.
Seeing this kind of from the window, I have my head stuck out, kind of looking over my shoulder back at them, about to say something, but seeing that tenseness and emotion is something that I am rather keyed into of myself and others. Gonna quietly step over and kind of scoot the photos, trying to not look at them myself, and just place a light hand on Varja's shoulder. Are you okay?
No. I need a drink. We need to go to a bar. We got to find someplace to get a drink. This is not good.
Indeed, it's not. It is a good thing we need to find Leah, then.
Why does Liam have the drinks?
Oh, what was that? I'm so sorry, I didn't hear it.
I said, why does Liam have the drinks?
He is at a bar, as far as I know. Drinking away his sorrows.
Yeah, maybe we should go there first. And
If that is what you need.
Still, I'm still looking at the pictures, but I'm just.
I scooted the pictures away.
I have a good idea what it might be, but I'm not. Without being 100% sure, I'm not. And yeah, it's. I'm
with the class.
Angrier. Yeah,
Share with the class.
And angrier, and
I did scoot the photos away.
And tell you guys that, when I was young, there was a mountain troll that had captured me, and the only reason why I had managed to escape was because it became petrified, and I was stuck in its arm for days, screaming for my parents to come and get me, and they never showed. And to come to find out, this troll had killed my parents.
Oh,
So, if this is what I think it is, this is. I want it dead.
While they're having their conversation, and that is the constable paying attention to us, or is he cooking still?
He's cooking.
So I want to swipe a couple of the photos.
Okay. All right. You're confident in your abilities to do so. Which photos do you take?
I want to take the one that looks like where we can see the hand.
Okay.
And I want to take the one that I noticed triggered Barge.
Which photo was it that triggered Varge?
I believe it was the one that was broken in half, wasn't it?
One that looked like it was used as pretty
Yep.
much a human baseball bat.
Okay. You have those two items in your possession.
that
After a
is-
At that,
That-
though,
yes.
as you tuck it up under your shirt or what have you, the constable turns around and fish and diced potatoes, and he comes over and he sets 3 wooden plates down and sets down 3 wooden cups, and he begins to pour this sweet smelling wine and pours it, right? And he says, fish, potatoes, mead.
I grab
Eat
the
and-
meat and slam it and put it back
Eat
down.
and drink your fill.
Thank you.
Viola takes pieces of fish and feeds them to her cat.
Manda would bring an actual prop for her cat.
Yeah.
I forgot that all of us have animals. That's so funny.
Yes.
And I could bring mine down here, but I locked her upstairs.
So you begin to, this 1 cup of mead isn't necessarily enough to reduce your anger, right?
No.
I
Um,
will slide her
just-
mine as well. I do not partake. So
What he he sees you do this, he goes, "What?"
in meat, it's called on occasion.
I
The
tell her
devil's
thank
street?
you, and I grab it and slam that one. As you can see my hands
And-
literally shaking as I'm slamming it.
I'll put like a hand up to kind of block and say, I feel like she needs it more than me.
He pours you another mead, and he's just looking at you why don't you drink it?
Is it rare around these parts to not?
It's that whole concept of no, I only drink water kind of thing. People are like, what? You know what I mean? What?
What do you mean? It is at least not necessarily normal where I am from, but at least done. I have enough going on up here. I don't need more, if you are understanding.
I guess.
Your hospitality is not lost on me, though. Thank you.
Well, there's a room set aside for you 3 at the hotel across the street. Should you find yourselves there, you can find me in the morning, and we will go out to the mine if you so choose.
Absolutely. I think we have a couple of questions we would like to ask some individuals before we go there. But you said you were setting up a meeting with Wilhelm?
Yes, tomorrow, the mine.
At the mine is where he is. I see.
Yes.
Then, yes, we will meet you here when we are ready.
If you have any need of me, I am here.
Thank
Any
you,
need of
Constable.
mead? Yes, please. Hold out the cup.
He just kind of like he smiles and he goes, "You need to go to Marissa's." As he like takes his picture and like,
Pat, you can't do this to me.
well,
If
Pat.
I just have that look of, wait a minute, you just done her for not drinking it. I'm telling you I want more, and you're like, no.
Yeah, like it's like, no, this is my good stuff. What are you talking? No, go over there. This is okay. So where do you where do you guys wish to go next?
Bar.
Mauritius.
To Mauritius? Okay. All right. So
Really quick, how old is Viola?
25.
25. Okay. And is Varge around the same age? Because I was imagining
19.
that. Oh, she's younger. Oh, this little baby. No. Okay.
pots and
Got
kettles.
it.
What? Anyway. So you guys. Do you guys drop off your luggage? Anything along those lines
Yes,
first or whatever?
absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right. I'm just like sitting there like, are you those people who drag your suitcase
Just
around
drag it
everywhere
everywhere.
until you finally go to the hotel?
Well, we were told somebody was taking care of our luggage, so
It was kept downstairs.
It
while we
was
were
kept
at the
downstairs.
consequence.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like, yeah, we'll take care of your luggage. It was like I'm make sure nobody steals it.
I do. I don't think I described this. I have kind of like an over-the-shoulder bag that has my Swedish Valhund, which is Runa, my dog, in it.
Mhm.
And so that is staying with me, but everything else can go as long as I have my camera and writing utensils, of course. Those are a must.
You do understand how large cameras are, right?
I probably have a separate bag for it. Like
no,
They
no,
had
no,
the tripods.
no, the cameras
Oh,
at
these are
this
the
time.
tripods?
The cameras
Yeah,
at this
those are
time
the
are
old
like the
stuff.
giant tripod with like the poof
flash-
stuff.
yeah, the-
Yeah, so- yeah,
the
so
poof
you
on
hold-
one
the
side,
flashlight,
and
or
they
the,
have to, and they have to
Yeah.
like,
Yep,
and,
uh,
okay, and, yeah.
yeah.
got it. That is staying then for sure at
Yeah.
the hotel. I'll bring that tomorrow.
Like, try to carry it. Just,
Powder flash. Thank you. That's what it is. Powder flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then never mind.
Yeah, it's not a little camera.
Yeah. No.
Well, I was imagining, oh gosh, it as like the big blocky ones.
I know which one.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that's the
You want
19.
an accordion
the
out,
like
yeah.
accordion one.
That's
Yeah.
1920s.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I clearly do not know my camera history.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey,
So.
learn something new.
All right. So you guys go to Marissa's, and when you go in, you find a steady group of miners that are there. Right? They're playing games of chance. Right? But the moment you enter, it's as if the whole room knows you're not from here. And you guys can feel almost the entire room look in your direction. After a brief moment, you hear Marissa, "Don't mind them. Come in, have a seat or whatever." And at that acceptance by Marisha, they kind of go back to their drinks, but they're a little less talkative and far more, who are these people? This isn't a town that gets many visitors outside of company people very often. So you all kind of stand out just a touch.
So I go up. Marissa's the bartender then? For the barkeep?
Oh, yep.
Take the bottle of your strongest drink, please.
Try again, half pint, and she just sets a tankard on your, like, in front of you.
I can happen. Don't wanna. What the? What's going on here? And I take it and I start drinking.
She looks at you all like she very much is in a town full of miners, right? So like it's one of those like, yep, this this woman walks up who's probably maybe like $1.15 soaking wet in combat boots and is like, "Give me your strongest drink." Yeah, okay, there you go, have that. All right, moving on.
Pardon me. You are Marisha, I imagine?
That's me, owner and proprietor of the Dead Fish. What can I help you with?
It is wonderful in here. Thank you
No,
for
it's
having
not, but I
us,
appreciate
and
that.
it is
Like,
wonderful
as-
for the miners.
Like, as you look around, like, at that, right, you realize there's, like, soot stains everywhere, right? Like, the walls at one point were white, but they're now that dingy brown because too many people have smoked in here kind of thing, right? Like, it's one of those, like, yeah, it was a nice place at one point, but not really anymore.
Got it. I assume you know many of the individuals that come through?
Yes, I do. What, are you looking for somebody?
Yes, we are, is there an insight roll to see if, like, would me bringing up the fact that we're with the Lantern
Just-
Society set people off?
Just go with it.
Just going with it? Okay. We
Yeah.
are
I
looking
will tell.
for
I will tell
Liam.
you if a roll is needed. Say it.
We are looking for Liam. We were
Liam?
told that he might be around these parts.
She just kind of like
And
looks.
as
and,
you
like-
say that, I yell, "Liam, where are you at?"
Oh, March!
You hear like 5 or 6 guys go, "What?"
Oh, Liam is a common name in this town, I see.
She looks down and you see this dude who's like very into his drink right at the end. He is an older gentleman. Would probably normally be clean shaven. But he's got a bit of scruff going on. Silvery hair pushed back. And he very much is like, he's kind of hunched over his drink. He's got a pair of kind of like overalls and a bright blue shirt that he's wearing that's got a few stains on it or whatever. And he's just kind of into his drink. And he looks up and over and through kind of slightly peek through eyes, right? That are just the brightest blue you've ever seen. Looks over at you all. Who's asking for me?
And I point and go, "She is."
Yeah, Selma just walks right up. Hello, I am Selma. I was told that you had some information about your previous land. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind answering some questions.
I'll answer some questions if you buy another round.
Marisha? And she'll offer a hand and some coin, of course.
And she just like
No, you gotta watch out. That
pours.
could be for the whole bar. You gotta watch out that sun.
Pours. Yeah, she pours into his tankard, and he takes a long swill and sets it down, and once again you smell that sweet honey smell of the mead coming off of his breath.
Viola looks torn for a minute between staying with Varge or going over to Selma based off of the interaction on the train and going, all right. And she goes over and kind of between the two of you, but closer to Selma, just like, oh god.
He looks up, and what do you wish to know, pretty lady?
You are so sweet, thank you. But
You look like you need a nap.
you are very observant. Anyways, your previous land. We were told of an interaction you had with your cousin, Wilhelm.
I curse that bastard to Helheim and back. What do you want with Wilhelm? He can kiss my ass.
Him I want nothing to do with. It is you that I have the questions for. You knew that land better than anyone, did you not?
Of course. It was passed down from generation to generation. My father and his father and his father, all the way back to the beginning.
You had said that you had been sworn to protect something.
There are things in these lands, lassie, that you don't mess with. Things older than you and me, and older than the sky. And it's our job. And he pounds his chest, right? To make sure that they're protected, lest they get angry. And you don't want them angry.
Do you suspect that the recent deaths of the miners might have been one of those provoked?
He's like, his eyes get real big, and he looks at you, and he says, "You see them too? Do you see them? Do you?" And he like reaches out and he like grabs the front of your shirt and pulls you in. Do you see them? Do you see them too?
I will answer your question if you unhandle me. I am a lady.
And
you
he
must
like
not forget.
And Marisha like comes over and like you see her produce this club, right? And hits him over the back of the head. Unhand the lady! Right? And he kind of like stumbles over and he's just kind of like laying there. Oh, the old one's skin of stone. And he just kind of falls over.
What did he mutter?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. What did he say?
I don't know. What did he mutter?
The old one's skin stone? Gosh, you, Kurt! I'm putting that in my notes and I feel like it's definitely wrong.
It's okay, I heard the same thing, so.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel better.
Was it skin to stone?
Ooh, maybe. Interesting. Is he just on the ground now?
He has, and a couple of the miners kind of take pity on him as Marge gestures. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. He gets into his drink and then he starts speaking nonsense of things of old and myths and legends, saying they still stalk the woods and you best be careful. And it's all whatever. And
Have you heard his tales?
What?
Have you heard the tales that he tells?
Of course, we all have.
Tell
But
us.
it's all the same thing, that the old ones, the ones of the earth, all are around us, and that us mining into the side of the mountain is what's waking them up and driving them out, and they're the reasons for all the destruction and all of the deaths and whatnot. It's all hogwash. It's nothing but a bear that's out there, I'm willing to bet. A big bear.
You're willing to bet?
She just kind of looks at you and she's like, "Don't tell me you cling to the old ways, youngin'."
Of course.
Do they take him like outside or something, or they just move him, or just they left him?
They scoop him up or whatever, right? And you just see them carry him off out of the bar.
Okay, I want to follow them. I'm gonna trail after them.
Okay. So you're familiar with shadowing people and whatnot, right? And for lack of a better term, they drop them off at the drunk tank, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
Right? And then they kind of carry on themselves and out to the miners' bunkhouses. Back in the bar, though, you were asking a question, Selma.
Yes. You obviously work at the mines. Have you noticed anything unusual? Strange?
Marisha doesn't work in the mines.
Oh, was that Marisha talking? I thought it was one of the miners that had.
No.
Oh, my
No.
bad.
Yeah.
Then, oh, do I want to go up? Do any of the miners in the inn look open to conversation?
They're all kind of looking at you. Some of them are looking at you with not necessarily the best of intentions in their eyes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because you are clean and well dressed and not from here.
Turning back to Marge, do you feel better?
About what?
Another.
Is she gonna be okay?
I will make sure of it.
She pours a half of one. That's it.
Cheapskate.
That she's a bit into it. I'm sure you understand.
Like, she's staring at you, and it kind of, like, begins to call back a memory for you, Varge, of when you were in trouble and your mother would stare at you, and then that heat on your ass would start to form, even though you haven't actually been spanked yet, but you know that it's coming, and you instinctively clench up, and as she's just like stares at you for a minute, and you kind of rethink your position on calling the bartender a cheapskate.
There is a tight grip on your shoulder from Selma.
All right, fine. We should probably go. As I
Maybe-
get up from the bar stool and stumble.
I will put an arm around you, keep you steady.
Come on,
Wait, where did
Snowball.
Viola go? Oh no, we've already lost one. She will start to leave, look both ways. See if the redhead is spotted anywhere.
Stick out.
Sore thumb, got it. She'll wave you over.
Oh, I wanted to do something first.
Oh,
Is there like a bucket and a trough for horses anywhere nearby?
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure, yeah.
Excellent. I'm gonna fill the bucket and throw the water on him.
On who?
On Liam.
Okay. Okay. You throw the bucket of water on Liam, and he perks awake, right? And he starts cussing up a storm, fighting and punching at the air around him. And he's just like, what is, what is it,
Do it again and say this is for the smell.
Shanzer, you good now?
Who are you?
Name's Viola. So you can see.
Can now.
Tell me about what you saw at the mines.
I didn't see anything at the mines.
Nothing of the old?
What do you know about it?
Enough. I'm here to help.
Uh-huh. If you're here to help, then you shut down the place and let them return. And he sits down and just kind of like turns, and he starts to bang on the cage.
Do you feel nothing for those men who lost their lives?
He turns. Nothing. Nothing. They took the land I was sworn to protect, rape it for its riches, and then leave it to rot, and not give two shits about what lives there, what dwells there, things older than them. All they care about is the forward progress of man, when man is but an insect in these lands. No, I don't care. And he turns and he's, Constable, let me out of here!
Just shakes her head, walks away. She knows she's not going to get anything out of him.
Okay.
Just we walk out, hear the ranting and raving of
Oh,
a crazed
yes.
man and Viola walking towards us. Just concern.
Nope, no concern. Just bucket. Just still holding.
Yeah, she just got a bucket in her hand. Like, what did you do?
Is everything okay?
Liam's coherent now. Doesn't care though.
What do you mean he doesn't care?
He doesn't care about the people who got killed. He's not going to tell us anything. At least not me.
Right.
She just smiles at you in your well-dressed ways.
Do you think I would have a shot getting any information out of him now that he
Well,
is
you got
more...
shot at anything you want.
Maybe.
Once again, putting a hand up. I kind of let Varch have another drink. It might have been a mistake, but I was hoping it would help her feel better.
I'll watch her. She's thinking about it. She goes, do I leave you alone with him?
Well, we can. It'll be fine. He's behind bars right now. It's fine.
I look at Viola and go, just cover your eye.
Selma will go up to him, keeping a bit of a distance from the bars, so that if he were to try and extend a hand out through them, he could not reach me.
Okay.
Liam, do you remember our little conversation earlier?
No.
Right. I know that you were here to protect these lands, the lands that were taken from you. Can you tell me anything about what was there? Any reason, any type of entity or being that might have crushed those men?
Yes. The blood of Christian men angers them. But you don't know anything about that. As he walks up and he begins to smell you. Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is your character a Christian?
Mm-mm.
Not at all?
Mm-mm.
Does she wear any sort of adornment of the Christian faith?
I don't think so. I think that she has seen too much to believe.
Okay.
Maybe at one point, but definitely not anymore.
Okay. You might live. Don't go out at night. Well, what do you want?
I'll get the constable for you. And I'll go ask the constable to get him out, because we talked to him, and he seems to be a bit more sobered up now than he was.
Oh no, he's not sobered up. He's just angry.
He's not.
He's just angry drunk.
Oh.
Yeah, no, the
Never
dumping cold water on a person who's really intoxicated just makes them alert and pissed. It doesn't actually bring about sobriety. It actually just makes them angry drunks.
Which is why I said he was coherent.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, I'll just go back to Viola and Varge then. Neither of you happen to be of the Christian faith, do you?
Viola takes out
Be honest. Be honest.
I don't have my necklace on. I actually had a pentacle that I was going to be wearing for this.
Oh,
he's a pagan.
That's one thing I never wrote down on. Was that so? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not.
You're too drunk to say right now.
I'm too drunk to tell you.
We'll talk about this in the morning. We should get to bed. Sleep this off.
As you turn in for the evening, right? Vargar, Vargar, Varge, Varge. It's large Varge. Anyway, you can remove the point of angry because you have essentially slept it off and you've imbibed, which helps get rid of a lot of that stuff, which will take away that that mental stress, that mental point. But as you do, as you lull off to sleep, right, you know that there's something wrong in this town, most definitely. The room is...
When you guys leave me down to bed, I call, thank you, Snowball. And you guys see me curl right up and more or less wrapping around Snowball. Snowball puts the head over the shoulder, kind of looking over the room.
He's the big spoon.
So, with that, you begin to lull off to sleep. And as the night takes you and sleep begins to take you, you can't help but feel that something old and ancient is in this town. And just as you're lulling off to sleep, there is a thunderous crash, and a bell is struck. Bing, 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 pulling you quickly out of that half slumber that you were just entering. And that's where we'll take our one and only break for today.
Oh my goodness!
So, yeah. We're going to get some drinks, and Kurt is definitely going to wet his palate, so to speak, because my mouth is getting dry. And we will be back here in just a few minutes. As per BlueBox usual, the mics will be hot, so feel free to interact with us and ask your questions. I may or may not answer them. I don't know. We'll be back here. Give us probably 5 minutes. We'll be back.
Oh man, I'm excited.
It's gonna be great. That's wonderful.
This is so cool. I'm so glad that you got to tell a little bit of backstory, Marge.
Yeah, that was great.
That was so cool. Oh my gosh.
Put on with my outfit.
Oh. Yay.
So when I say that I'm curling up with my dog is literally a full-grown German Shepherd. That's what my pet is, my hunting dog. So
pretty puppy.
Mine's a scruffy cat, as we saw on camera.
I was gonna ask. Rachel's must be a cat too, because I see a cat in the chair behind.
I do have. That's my Toby. He's a sweet boy. My dogs are downstairs. I did have a puppy come up earlier, but
Toby a silver tabby?
yes. All of the cats that I own are siblings. They all come from the same mother, though I don't know about their father, because one of them is Gladys is a Russian blue. He is a silver tabby, and Abby is a brown tabby.
In fact, the same litter can have two different fathers.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, they were born at the same time. Like, when they started popping up, they were all popping up together at my mom's work. So,
we think our male, Dresden, who is a tuxedo, and Binks, who you saw on camera, are siblings. Because they look identical. Like, almost right down to their patternings are the same. Same type of temperament, same type of coat. But they're, like, 3 years apart.
Oh my gosh.
So all of them
so
are
cute.
adopted. Like, they're all rescues.
Oh. We love rescuing kitties.
Yeah, I've got 2 German Shepherds. I've got one that's the normal color, and then I've got an all black.
Oh, gorgeous. Which one is Snowball? I'm guessing white.
No. Snowball per the game. Let me double check what. Yep, has the white muzzle and then gray, and it goes into brown.
Precious.
If you can in Roll20, I don't know if you can. Yeah, you can actually pull up my character sheet and click on the bio, and that's the picture of my character and Snowball.
I have to return a phone call. I will be right back.
Gorgeous. I haven't read anyone's backstory because I wanted to wait until like after the game so that I'm not
Yeah, I didn't read anybody's.
ruining it for myself, because then we get that awesome moment where you share, and that was so cool.
Oh yes.
I'm very excited. Oh yes?
Oh yes, this is gonna be great. The next little part here, though, is gonna be a little fast, so strap in.
Ooh,
because
I'm strapped.
we've only got. You are?
I'm
Jesus, it's
oh,
only
wait,
a,
oh.
it's only a stream. Crap, man! Like,
Keep it in check there, Kurt. Keep it in check.
holy shit! I guess
I'm
so.
sorry. Stay strapped or get clapped.
I guess so. Wow.
Oh man. Also, I'm so glad you're loving it, BPG Gaming. Or BP Gaming.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, no. Yeah, this is definitely going. Normally, Vaesen has a much slower build up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like when you want to do a one shot, you generally do it over the course of like 5 hours or whatnot. So you set it as a full night kind of thing or whatever. But with our 3 hour, I think we're clipping at a pretty good pace.
I think so too. I've very much enjoyed the questioning. I don't know. I have all of these notes so far.
Why don't we just need to get you a notebook?
I have a couple, but for like I need one dedicated for like one shots because I always feel bad using a whole note. Like
that's what I do.
I like organizing things.
I have my one shots notebook, right? This is just all the stuff this is the book I use for one shots, right?
I need one.
Notebook.
And then I have my
we're not showing this right now.
I have my Star Wars campaign book that I for that one. Right?
That's a good image on it.
I have this is all the adventures that Kurt has published and is publishing written down in notebook. Then I have my campaign setting book, the campaign setting of my own creation. That's in here.
Incredible. Is that the one that you're going to be running?
No.
For stuff? Or is that for something else entirely?
No, that's just it may see the light of day someday. It may not. And then I have my if I'm ever this is my actual campaign book for as a player when I'm actually a player in a game.
Rare.
It's rare. It's rare, but it's there.
But loved.
Mm-hmm.
It's rare, but it's there.
It's
Love that.
rare, but it's there because I am proudly wearing my, forever GM shirt because that's the life we lead.
That's the life you lead. I should DM for you sometime.
I would greatly appreciate that because I am 100% happy to just be there and not be a DM and just be a player.
Absolutely.
Like, people are like, I don't like the GM. I'm like, dude, I just want to play. You are a river unto your people,
Too true. Too true.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Hurt the river.
No, I am not the river. I am not the river. You know why? Because the last thing that was down by the river. I'm like, no, I am not the river. I am not.
I have been playing it too
down
much.
by the river.
I'm on my second playthrough right now, and it's the Dark Urge, and it is wild.
How did I know you would Dark Urge?
It was my second playthrough. I played Mila in my first, and I was very, very good, very Mila-like.
What is your Dark Urge character?
First of all, she's hot. Second of all, she's scary.
She's hot and she's scary.
Those are the
Good
two criteria.
Combo. I mean, oh man. Well, I guess you're not going to romance Carlock then if you're Dark Urge.
It's true. I need to do a Karlak. Like, I really wanted to with Mila, but Will was just the most good aligned character.
Oh man. Pat's fucking fighting. Pat's picking
Yeah,
fighting
Pat.
words. Pat's picking fighting words.
Pat has been picking fighting words this whole time. Man's been coming at me. Put up your dukes.
I guess because John's not here, he's got to go for you next.
It makes sense.
I mean,
get it. I'll take it. I'm ready.
Oh,
welcome,
goodness.
Super Sarah.
Welcome
we are about to end our break, I believe.
We are. Is everybody good? Everybody got your drink? Everybody got... Let me see your stickers real quick. Hang on. We'll be back in a minute.
Gosh, I have many. Okay, so first, of course, we have BlueBox sticker. Then we have one for Cade that I also got. A lot of these. I have 2 from California here. Then I have a lot of gay ones. So we say gay, bup. This one's always fun, which is one I'm not reading because I don't know how much of that can be said on stream. Yep. Then no one is illegal on stolen land, and I'm also not going to read this one out on stream because I can't say it, but it's good, right?
That's a good one. No, that is a good one. That is a good one. I have that actually as a mini poster on my wall.
Good.
I have that as a mini poster on my wall.
On my laptop, I have some of my favorites.
Support your local morale workers.
True. Absolutely. My anxiety is chronic, but this booty is iconic. Except, different word. That's on my laptop, and it's lovely.
Oh my god!
I'm a big fan of stickers.
I just
stickers.
They're lovely.
My sticker board's in the group chat.
Oh, incredible!
All right.
We're getting back to it now.
We're getting back to it. We've got it. We've gotten it out. All right, here we go. Woo! Welcome back. So, before we went to break, we were investigating the town and talking to a few key individuals, gathering the initial facts that we could. After a interesting bout at the bar dealing with Liam, the former farmer, they decided to call it a night. It's been interesting, to say the least. As they were lulling off to sleep, there was a large, thunderous crash, and the city alarm bell was sounding off. They awake, and everything around them is loud. You hear people yelling and screaming, and outside you can hear people shouting, "Get stretchers! Get them to the hospital! What's happening?"
Oh no. Immediately throwing off the covers. I'm used to being woken up in the middle of the evening, and I'm going. Slipping quick shoes on, of course.
Oh, of course. All right, so as you are right, running out of there, right? Okay. You come down and you see a bunch of miners running towards the bunkhouses. As you follow the group that way over to the bunkhouse, you see there we go. Oh no! Something fell. Don't worry about it.
Oh no!
You see people running over, and there's mass confusion. Now, Viola, you saw the miners go to the bunkhouse, right? When you look over, that bunkhouse has a giant swath out of the middle that has been pulverized out. As people are running over, there's individuals who are hurt, who are bleeding, broken, everything, right? As you are looking around left and right, people are picking up people, putting them together, putting them on stretchers, hauling them off. What do you guys do?
would love to try and find someone that might have seen what happened or was in the midst of it when it occurred.
They don't.
That's conscious.
Everybody who's here, right, looks to be like emergency services or the equivalent thereof. The equivalent thereof.
Does it look like that machine?
Oh.
Does it look like that machine?
That claw machine that was picking up the coal and dumping it? Does
Earth
it look
grabber.
like?
Yep.
Does it look like it could have been that?
Make a. You know what? Make a. Make an investigation check to see what you can see.
And submit. I sees nothing.
Art of Mike Disney, thank you for rating.
Hey, Mike Disney, thank you for bringing all these wonderful folks on into us. We're playing a little bit of Vaesen tonight, and we are currently conducting an interesting investigation.
Things have just gone awry, so it's the perfect time to join.
You don't happen to see anything. There's so much confusion. A giant chunk of the building is like torn out almost, like blown out. People are hurt and screaming. A small fire is starting to happen near the bunkhouse due to, something in there being knocked over and causing the wood and linens to catch on fire or whatnot, right? The fire brigade is rushing over to try and start to put it out. And you hear in the distance.
So is that the same sound I heard at the window?
It is. It is the same sound that you heard while you were at the window, not against the wall.
Do we all hear this time, or is it just...
Like, you all faintly hear it. Everybody hears it, right? But at the same time, it only sticks with you three.
What was that? I say that out loud.
Heard it before when we were at the constables.
Did you? It must be tight. Before things get too muddy, I'm gonna go and see if there are any type of like massive footprints or something nearby around the building. If I can even get close enough to see so. Try to see anything that might...
It is a little difficult. The constables out there, several other people, they're pushing everybody back and away and whatnot so that they can get to the injured. Like, it's gonna be almost impossible for you to really get in here at this point. This bunkhouse, right? Over 100 men lived in this bunkhouse. There were 100 miners that lived here, right? And so there are a lot of wounded, a lot of people who are injured, possibly killed, and they're just doing everything they can to try and get to these people. The doctor has come rushing out and everything.
So
I'm looking at the ground.
Yeah, like the surrounding area.
Yeah, to notice like outside, because if it was a machine, maybe there was some type of metal wheel track or wood wheel track. If it was a creature, maybe there's a footprint in the ground or something that we could possibly see that might be bigger than a normal footprint or different than a normal footprint, something like that.
Make an investigation check.
While they're looking at the ground.
Wrong kind of miners. For the love of God. Wrong kind of miners.
I see nothing.
Is everyone kind of concentrated around like one side of the wreckage?
No, well, sort of. They're coming all in from one side.
Okay. So I want to go around like the back side of it, trying not to be seen to get into the rubble.
Make a stealth. You're going to need to roll a stealth.
Excellent.
It's So investigation, I have 0 in, but even if I click the button, it'll default to logic, right?
It should, yes. If it
Okay.
doesn't, then click on logic.
I think my logic is 2, so since it rolled
Okay.
2, I think that's correct.
Mm.
Ooh, look at that. Stealth. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you stealth around, right? You stealth around. What's this logic roll for?
That was for me looking for those
For the
footprints.
love of the Lord.
Okay, all right, hang on.
Yeah, both of ours was.
Because I didn't know if because it was at 0, I thought I'd have to hit the logic.
You're good.
instead.
You're good. I'm just making sure I'm tracking what you're doing. Um, okay, so you sneak around, or not? Correction. You look around for a footprint. You don't see any footprints. None that you can see, but everything here is cobblestone, right? This town, because of the money that's come in, all the streets are now cobblestone streets and
I
stuff
just
like
figured
that.
with the coal and soot and stuff that
No,
settling down even on cobblestone with
you don't see anything of that particular nature, but it's also been exceptionally wet and misty and foggy and whatnot in the area, given the time of year that it is. However,
okay.
on the backside, Viola, you sneak around and you round and you find that giant machine toppled over, ripped apart, as if it was almost thrown through that building like a bowling ball.
Okay.
And it came to rest on the other side.
While I'm looking kind of at the rubble and that, can I see crucifixes, anything like that?
Like around?
Like
You're
in
not
the rubble?
you're not going to be able to get in the rubble. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. Right now, you're not going to be able to get in there, and it is far too dark outside right now because there is no moon out right now, and you have the haze of the factories above you. For you to really kind of sift through that, unless you choose to light a lantern.
Not yet.
Okay.
How close is this bunkhouse to any, like, is there any others around?
There's another one that's like it's like bunkhouse.
Okay, so is there any signs of Christianity on the exterior of
Nope.
the others? Nothing.
Nope.
Okay. Okay.
Also, for Rachel to know, do the lanterns do anything special or specific, or do we not know?
I don't know, do they?
Oh, Kurt, you keep doing this. You're killing me. You're killing me. Okay.
You know what Sarah's saying? Let's make bad decisions. So you know what? Let's light the lantern. Let's do it.
As you light the lantern, right? You light the lantern and it lets out the light. And as you look around, right? The light changes from a bright whiteness to a faint blue. And you see massive handprints, 4-fingered, on the side of this broken machine.
Oh, I'm gonna pull the photo out from my pocket that has the picture of the handprint and I'm gonna hold it in so the light is hitting it. Do I see the same thing?
No, but you can definitely make out that it's the same digits.
Okay.
The same number of digits.
Excellent. Quickly put the photo away again to make sure nobody sees that I have it.
Oi! You there! Who's over there?
Thank you for the raid, Catchy Cantrips.
I'm gonna quickly snuff out the light and just book it back towards the crowd.
Okay. All right. So you book it back. Man, all these raiders. Hi, raiders.
I know,
Welcome
there's
on
so
in.
many.
Right?
Thank you.
So
Love
many
you.
raiders. Love you. Appreciate you. You book it back out of there. All right. Now back around to the other side. you can surmise, right, that until dawn, you're probably not going to be able to get into this area, right? So, do you go back to the hotel, or do you just try to lend a hand with the helping of the people and whatnot, or do you just steer clear? What do you wish to do?
Steer clear.
Okay, for mental layout, the miner's home, where is that in relation to the mine itself? Is it close? Are they close to each other?
The bunkhouses?
The bunkhouses, yes.
No. The mine is like 5 miles outside of town.
So then, is the bunkhouse near like the woods? Is it around the outskirts?
It is near the outskirts of the town. Yes.
If I
there
were
is
to...
a like if you're looking at it, right, the bunkhouses, right, there's several carriages that are there and a large stable that they all the miners kind of pile in and ride out, kind of thing.
I don't want to go into the woods. I want to stress that, based off of what Liam has warned us, don't go into the woods at night, listening to that very carefully. But I do want to take a look around that area, see if there's any like broken foliage or even potentially like trees pushed in unnatural ways from something particularly large coming through.
Make an investigation check.
Oh, come on, girl. I can't use anything to help with that, can I? I can use my writing utensils, which gives me a +1 from taking notes on things.
No.
Okay. I was gonna try.
No.
Okay.
What'd you get? Let's see.
1 success.
You see stress lines on several of the trees. And that musk smell from when the coal was burning.
I flip open my notebook, write that down, and back the heck off. The stress lines I can only see because it's very dark, like not too far into the woods, so I can't see what direction it's coming from or going. Okay, then yeah, I will inch back to Varge, and if Viola shows up somewhere, for her too.
So, do you guys turn in for the night?
I'm going to help out as much as I can. Obviously, feel free to go to sleep. It is important and good, but I don't get much sleep anyways, so I feel I'd be best utilized here.
See if you can talk to the doctor.
Will do. If he has a free moment. Perhaps in the morning. And Sama will stay to help.
So? Then
Viola will go back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
so Farge and Viola go to sleep.
Yep.
The night progresses and it wears on you. While you, Selma, you aren't angry. You can't sleep either. And because you work through the night and get so very, very little sleep, you take a point. You're a little on edge. You become a little bit more angry, a little agitated.
Is it
Mental.
Physical exhausted or mental? Got it. Got it. It has been noted.
The dawn comes. It's been cleared away. You know that many of the workers that were brought here, right? That's specifically the ones that stayed in the bunkhouses, were not from here. Some of them were English, Danish, German.
Christian?
I don't know, perhaps. but they were definitely not of this land. While there were many of the miners are from here, the locals have their own homes here, their own homesteads and what have you. But when the dawn comes and the skies illuminate, that gray haze still sets over the town, and you get a first chance look at the destruction. Something very much rolled that machine through that bunkhouse like a bowling ball. Just short.
Oh, sorry. I was going to ask, while I was helping out with people, did I notice any type of more Christian iconography
Sure did.
on anyone?
Oh,
on
yeah,
people?
of course. Yeah, of course.
Cool. Okay.
I mean,
Just
it wasn't
making sure.
solely that, but there's a mix.
Well, yeah, of
Right?
course.
The constable, even though having had a long night, still meets down at the foyer of the hotel, saying that despite last night's activities, you see why he requested the lanterns to come.
Certainly.
It makes no sense. Wilhelm has agreed to come from his very illustrious home up off the side of the mountain down to meet them at the mines, saying that while the tragedy has befallen the bunkhouse, business must still be conducted, and those miners that were able were sent back to mineshaft 1 and 2 to find what they could and harvest what they could from the very bounty of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
It takes about 2 hours or so to rustle horses as you mount the horses and ride out to the mine. Once upon arriving at the mine, Wilhelm is already there. He is there with his large carriage and several, oddly enough, armed guards. With their muzzle-load rifles and bayonets fixed, they wear the unmistakable iconography of the Arsgard Mining Company. They stand there, and this very dwarfish-looking man comes out with a long pipe in his hand, his hair slicked back, and looks to be about conniving. Ah! These are your special investigators, Constable? Well, let's get on with it. Go find out what's keeping Shaft 3 closed. There's crowns to be made.
Viola does not like him.
Yeah, there is a look of utter contempt on Selma's face.
Like, he looks over all three, puffs off of his long pipe. I don't seem to understand what 3 young ladies will be able to accomplish compared to 50 armed men, but we'll see what happens. To
Well,
your
if you would like to
dooms
send the 50
or your
young,
fortunes.
50 young men in first, I would not complain. But
In
just know, it would result in their deaths.
In a very sweet voice, which is very uncharacteristic to what you have seen so far, she says, well, I suppose that's your shortcomings, at least one of them. And she walks into the mine.
That's good.
He puffs off of his pipe a little bit, right? And he looks you over. You'll be begging to shine my boots by week's end. And he puffs off of his pipe a little bit. Street rat.
I heard that after the catastrophe of last night, you sent those still able to continue to work in the mines despite at least... Question for you, Kurt. How many died last night?
So there were only 15 that died, right? But there were about 20 that were injured.
At least 20 dead total now, 20 more injured. Do you not care for your workers? Even the slightest bit?
Of course I care for my workers. That's why I called you here. But that, my fine young lady, is men's business and what we call the price of progress. As he takes a long pull and he taps it out. Now, over that way, and he gestures with the neck of his pipe, right? Down that way's Liam's old property, now my property, as he says with a sly grin. And shaft 13. Eric and Simon here will go with you and show you the way. I expect a progress report by day's end. We're paying you well enough. I expect results.
I understand now why Liam beat you. And I'll go.
Is he or the other two wearing any jewelry, like any crosses or anything like that on them?
Not that you can see. Oh, wait. The lawyer said this is a point of business. And he comes and he comes over, right, with a quill and a piece of paper, right? And it has 3 lines on it, right? You must all sign or, and he looks at Viola, make your mark on this particular piece of paper.
I take the paper and instantly start reading it.
It is basically a liability. It is a liability waiver, right? That says that Arsgard Mining Company is not responsible for any harm, death, or destruction that may befall you or your personal properties while on this investigation, and that you are entering of your own free will and volition, have not been coerced in any way, shape, or form, and that should any misfortune befall you, no family member is allowed to prosecute the Arsgard Mining Corporation.
I read it out loud. And I really want to just tear it up.
Do it.
And I do. I just, a big tear down the middle, flip it, tear in half, hand it back over, and start walking.
I thought you cared about these miners more than I did. The guards literally turn, cross their rifles in front of you, and will not allow you to pass. You want entry to the mine? You must sign the paper. But don't worry. Eric and Simon will make sure that nothing happens to that fine young frame of yours. Though it's a pity an educated woman risking herself.
I will take a sheet of paper, write some choice words on it.
No. Like, straight up, like, as you grab the quill again, it's almost as if he knew you were going to do that. He reaches in and produces another document that he puts onto the thing and holds it out.
My signature is not my name. It is a couple of choice words, but it is signed. Yep. Viola just does the exact same thing, just not her name, just some words that are not exactly ladylike.
Mm-hmm.
And hands him back the quill, just very purposely to him instead of handing it to anyone else.
And I write what they said.
He hands it over to the guards, and the 2 guards make their marks as witnesses to prove that they saw you sign it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he rolls it up. He rolls it up and sticks it inside his jacket. Very well. Again, progress report by the end of the day. You are now the gainful employees of the Arsgard Mining Company.
Employees is not listed within the contract.
It was not.
We are here from the Lantern Society, and
He quite literally turns, right, and he walks back over to the carriage. He taps on it a couple of times, right? And the door swings open, and these two very slight of frame men come out, and they begin to set up a table and chairs. I'll wait here. And he sits down, and they like immediately start bringing him out food and everything like that or whatnot, right? Like, this guy has money, like sickening
So as soon as the
amounts
food
of
gets
money.
put on the table, Snowball fetch.
Does the dog charge?
The dog runs over, grabs the food, runs back over.
Does the dog run at him?
No, at the table.
He's sitting at the table. Would it be perceived that the dog is running at him?
No, because it's not running directly at him. It's running at the table.
Like the side of the table, I think he means.
Yep. Yeah, it's running at the side of the table.
Okay. The
'Cause
guards
I wouldn't be straight
the-
where he is. I'd be across from him.
the guards raise their rifles, seeing the dog bolting towards their employer, and begin to take aim.
And I pull out my rifle and begin to take aim back.
Okay, maybe we should go into the mine and do our job.
I just said fetch. I didn't say kill. And the dog stops.
Like, you get the impression that these guys are taking zero chances at all. Like, they
They're
are
getting paid
they are
a
not
lot.
to be screwed with in any capacity. And Wilhelm knows that. These are not good people. They do not care. You are here to perform a job as far as they are concerned, and if you do not perform said job, they will terminate your employment.
Let us go into the mine and we can talk there. Yes? And I'm saying this to Barker and Viola.
Viola's like towards the
Barge and Viola. Got it. You're already
Mhm.
going.
Yeah.
Then I'll say that to Barge.
All right. I do. Snowball, come.
Dog comes.
And I look at those guys as I walk by the two guards. I go, "Good puppies." Tap them on the shoulders and walk in.
They honestly, like, they're blank faced at it, like 100%. It's as if they don't even register that you made any sort of a comment whatsoever, and they turn and they begin to walk, right, escorting
where?
you to mine 3.
As we are starting to go in,
Lead
I
the
am
way.
gonna light the lantern.
Yeah, I like mine too. But I tell those two guys that they have to lead the way.
They don't.
Um,
They literally stay in lockstep in the center of you, so that way they can keep eyes on you.
Quick question for you two men. Do any of you happen to be Christian?
They just turn. They just, as silent sentinels, they turn and they look at you, and then they turn and they look back. Mine's this way.
Only ask for your safety. Unless, of course, you're getting paid enough to not care about your safety, then in which case that is your decision.
They just look at you, tap their very intricate-looking rifles. Safety. You're also kind of getting the impression, right, by their very thick accents, that they may not speak the same language you do.
Do I recognize what type of accent?
It has a... Yes, you've probably heard somebody who's German before. They speak with very thick German accents when they do speak the native tongue.
I see. Oh god. Would Selma know at this time if Germany is rather Christian?
It's a mixed bag. Everything in
It's a
Europe
mixed
right now.
bag. Everything's a mixed bag. That's just how it is.
With the exception of England, England and France and Spain, everything else is pretty much kind of a mixed bag. You don't quite know yet.
Okay. All right. Then yeah, we start to enter, and I will. if catching up to Viola, I imagine, so that we are all together when having this conversation. We have ideas as to what we are going to be facing here. And a part of me does not believe a compromise can be found between Wilhelm and whatever is protecting this place. Do you all agree with that?
Well, no, it seems there's a simple solution to that.
I agree. Do you as well, Bart?
Yes, must be put down.
All right.
As you come to the mine, you notice that they have a rather ingenious way of illuminating the mine, right? You see several mirrors that are angled, right? That are bouncing the light off and down. And as you start to enter the mine, you start to see mirrors angled, right? Which is bringing daylight into the cave, right? So as you enter, you're immediately hit with this damp smell. This damp smell. And that solid odor of musk from the coal that was lit before. You see piles of coal sitting on carts that are just giving off that that odor, right? And you continue down in. Be careful where you go. We will wait here for you to come back out. They say, very choppy, very, this is what we know to say to you kind of thing. And they sit down on like a turned over crate, right? And one of them pulls out a cigarette, right? And starts to roll a cigarette. And the other one the other one pulls out a small flask and takes a sip from it and stands there and just almost holds his rifle on his shoulder as they watch you go in.
Danke. And I'll start to go.
Bitte. As you progress in, the daylight comes in. Do you light your lanterns?
Yes.
Yes.
As you light the lanterns and you look around with your eyes, you see something off. The piles that are in the coal carts are giving off that kind of faintish glow. Viola, you recognize it as giving off that subtle glow from like the handprint on the side of the machine.
I'm gonna relay that information to the group. It's the same. There's the handprint on the machine at night when they threw through the bunkhouse. It's the same. That's coming off the coal.
With this extra information, is it okay? Do we know that the lanterns often do this for Vaesen? Like previous expeditions we've been on, does it light up for like all of the Vaesen that we've been in contact with?
It lets you know that there is something mythical that has been in the area.
Okay.
Or
so
something,
that isn't
something mythical has been touched.
So that isn't something that would like trigger. Oh, it might be this type of.
No.
Okay.
No.
Got it. Just making sure.
The lanterns simply, as it says, help light the way.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you tuning in at home, no, this is not an actual magical item of Vaesen. This is something that Kurt has created for the Lantern Society because he thinks lanterns are neat. Anyway.
And they are.
So, as you progress forward, you all start to hear a faint noise, a rumbling.
Mm.
And you notice at the far end, several of the mirrors are positioned and make almost this wall of light. And shadows begin to draw near and farther. Along the walls, up against the walls, you see these chunks of rock and stone that almost look shaped, but you can't quite make out exactly what it is, right? They look like they're half of something, maybe, I don't know. But they have form, and in some cases smooth form, and in other cases they look smooth and then chipped away. And the farther you progress in, not quite able to make out exactly what they are, you round a tunnel to where they were going to blast, right? This is the incident. This is the area where they were originally going to be at, right? And you see a large form of stone laying on the ground where shadows are over it. The mirrors are all toppled over here and crushed. And as you swing your lantern over, you can't quite make out what it is due to the way that the light works from the lantern and the soft glow, but it does give it shape. And as you look, you see what appears to be a four-fingered, outstretched hand held up in what amounts to a defensive posture, and another hand shielding down, protecting a smaller form, approximately your size, turned to stone. But not just turned to stone. You can see pickaxe marks at the bodies of these things. Their stone skin and stone bodies harvested. And as you look around, you see another half chiseled away into piles of debris and rock. Looks like they were in the middle of shoveling what they had mined into the carts. And farther down, deeper down, you hear that wailing that becomes now more prominent, and you hear a thud.
Does that sound like
thud,
it's coming closer?
Thud. Oh yes, it sounds like it's very much approaching. Thud.
I'm gonna
my
put
gun up.
the lantern down and put my hands up, in kind of like the same type of defensive position that the one figure has that's shielding the other.
As it comes stomping the shadows, you can't quite make it out before you realize too much, and just the very faintest of glow, right? It's standing over you, its mouth and jaws open, yelling, letting out this blood-curdling as the ice in your veins runs cold, and it stands over you. But seeing your hands doesn't quite attack, it just stares.
You have been hurt. The people that have come in here previously, they've hurt you. And your family? And these
Viola?
don't look like hill giants, right?
No, these are mountain giants. Or mountain trolls, rather. They're mountain trolls.
Does it look like we could move the mirrors?
You could try and pick them up for sure.
I didn't know if they were, you could turn them, or if
no, they're quite literally just they're set on little posts that they can move to try and capture as much daylight as possible.
So that's what I want to know. So I want to be by one with my hands on it, like I'm just ready to turn the mirror, like so the light would hit it.
Make a stealth roll.
Oh boy.
My thing popped up every time I have to go back in here.
Wow.
All right, you get over by it.
Excellent.
And it's just looking at you, right? And it like sniffs at the air at you. And it just stares at you.
We don't want to hurt you.
Yes, we do.
These are not the ones that injured you, Varge. These ones have done nothing wrong. Their home has been come into and they have been torn apart. I understand you want revenge. That is only fair for what you have gone through. But you don't want to hurt those that have not hurt you.
It starts looking around, and then it realizes that you're talking to somebody else because it was solely focused on you.
Oh,
right?
Was it?
And now it sees that something else is, and it starts to back up slightly, like its fists, like it's starting to raise its hands and in like these, skin, like these hard fists as it's forming up, and it's looking left and right, and it sees that Varge has her rifle raised.
Would me talking to her have made her point it down at all?
No.
Boy.
Not at all.
And it just...
Varge? To get out of it.
If I pull the hammer back on the gun.
If we want to get out of here, I don't know if you want to anger them. You saw what they did to that house. You saw what they did to those people.
I'm gonna turn the mirror, but not towards the troll. I'm gonna turn it so it refracts the light towards Varge.
You're trying to blind me?
Or at least like make you like have to like move or readjust so you're not so focused on him. So yeah.
Okay, I need you to make a physical roll.
I'm stressed.
Who? Her or me?
She does.
Okay.
Oh no, what did I do?
Or physique, rather, sorry.
Okay, I was like, what am I clicking? This one? Nope. Don't push that button. That button. Oh, nothing. Just
Oh.
You begin to turn the mirror, and the light begins to move, and the troll sees it, and it instinctively raises its fists up above Selma, ready to bring it down as it suddenly perceives there is now a light threat.
Dodge.
You have half a second. What are you doing?
I mean, if it looks like it's about to come down, I'm gonna try to get out of the way.
And I pull the trigger.
Unless this is a thing that I can try to talk down, but I don't know if
Pick one.
I'm
Make a decision. You got to make a decision.
I'm dodging. I'm moving.
Oh, you don't think it understands you?
It at least Varge isn't understanding me, and that I know.
Oh, I guess you didn't hear that earlier. Good to know.
What?
I said at least Varge isn't understanding me. I'm so confused. Okay. Is it agility? Is that what I'm rolling?
Yep.
Oh, golly. Gee, I'm so good at this.
All right, what'd you get?
Success?
One success. Outstanding.
Is that enough? I don't know how dodging works. Why am I getting hit? I didn't do anything.
Huh? Why are you getting hit? I mean, it happens. Let me see here.
It happens, you know?
Speaking of med, no mumbling. We need to hear these things. Oh no.
It slams down and it misses you. Your one dodge manages to break through. And you dodge out of the way as its two massive fists come screaming down. Varge, you fire off a shot.
Yep.
And it hits it. And it immediately turns and
Well, do you want me to roll for the hit?
Oh,
or...
no, you don't need to roll for this one.
Okay.
It turns and looks, and it lets out a massive roar. Viola, you're still trying to blind, because you at this range you can't miss, kind of thing, because that's how large this is. Viola, you turn the light on to Varge. You get one action to do at this point before we go into initiative. What do you do?
Oh. I'm gonna. Can I drag Selma further away? Like I'm gonna just abandon the mirror.
You are away from them. You are
Okay,
easily
so
like
not...
5 to 10 feet away.
Okay. I'm gonna push the. Can I try to move the mirror again, but towards it, seeing that it attacked?
Make a physical.
Okay.
Come on.
Oh, this is gonna go well. It's gonna go so well. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Physique, my bad. Make a physique.
Okay.
You do. And the light of day strikes the troll, instantly turning its skin to stone where the light strikes, as it lets out a blood-curdling scream as its flesh and bones begin to petrify and turn to stone. Even where the light is not touching, it works its way up and over its body. Before too much longer, its entire body is now stone and engulfed, and it is stationary and standing.
I go, our work is done.
You lantern folk are worth your trade, worth the crowns. And you hear a jingling sound as a pouch of coin falls on the ground near Varge. And Wilhelm stands there. All right, boys, get the good stuff. And he turns and walks away, and a whole team of miners comes in with pickaxes and start cutting down the troll that has turned to stone. And with each strike, another piece falls off, and that musky scent emanates from each strike as another piece of not only the troll, but another piece of the history of the land, of the guardians of the land, is picked away. And you can feel in your very soul the myth, the legend, the magic of the land died a little bit this day, as this kern of trolls were killed and harvested for the greed and lust of man.
Calling out to Wilhelm, Selma is saying, "This will not be the end of it. The more you greed, the more you lust for this land, the more it will take from you."
As you're saying this, the guards are already pushing you back with their rifles out. When you leave the cavern of the cave, you look out and around, and you can hear faint cries coming from the woods as the very ground itself seems to wither and die immediately around the cave.
Keep your money.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for Vaesen, the Minds of Misdeeds.
No, I need more. I need more. There's more. I need to take this guy down.
We helped. We helped.
We totally
Not
will.
capitalism. Not anything but capitalism.
This concludes
If
the
it
tale and the case. 73 Minds of Misdeeds.
Oh.
If it wasn't for the trauma I had,
Oh.
it would have went a different way. But the
Yeah.
trauma I had, I didn't have a choice.
It was too specific.
Yep.
It was too specific. I tried reasoning. But trauma's trauma, man. You can't really reason with that.
I'm so torn between helping and hurting, because for my thing, I don't really care about them. I don't want any, like, I don't want them to be hidden. I want to expose them in that. So to me, turning them to stone, it's there. It's there. That's what it is. But it was like, oh, right now this one's been kind and this, but it's gonna hurt her.
What you said about like the mythos and the history of the land just being sucked away is like the exact opposite of what Selma wants, because her books are about the mythos and the history and the legends and keeping those alive through writing and books and stories. And oh, it hurt, Kurt, it hurt. But we're alive.
You're
and
alive.
also Selma doesn't take any of that gosh darn money.
I wanna
you
know.
are alive. What?
Does sight, if it runs in the family, does it hit every generation? Or is
No. So
It's trauma.
okay. So here's our post-game recap, friends.
Post-game
All
recap.
right. Here's our post-game recap. Thank you, everybody, again for hanging out with us and playing some Vaesen with us and sticking in. It's a little bit of a wild ride. Vaesen is actually, ideally, it's set up for campaign play. Right, so we took a lot of the rules, condensed a bunch of it down, and then on top of that, we took it and tried to cram it into a one-shot as much as possible. Like I was saying during the break, this game is definitely more built around like a 5-hour play session or whatnot, right? But I'm not going to keep these guys here that long. You know what I mean? But so what you guys, so the whole thing was. The fun part about Vaesen for me is that I'm not going to repeat things, right?
Yeah.
You have to catch them when they happen.
Which is
right?
awful because I have hearing processing issues.
I get that. But
Very fun though.
The troll spoke to you.
He did.
When he looked and he saw Varge, right, cock the rifle, it said in its roar, "Hurt me," in a questioning manner.
See, I didn't hear any words at all.
Me neither.
He
That's
was like,
so painful.
he was like, "Hurt me."
So I did.
So he did.
Dang.
Yeah.
So he did.
So
So she did.
So yeah, no, then so you took care of the troll. Now, granted, to be fair, right? The Minds of Misdeed is a one shot that I have ran before. And I didn't know when we started this off that Varge was gonna have a thing for trolls. So I looked at it as a way of like, well, Varge could actually grow from it versus feed into it, right? And try and kill, right? Admittedly, I'm like, oh, Rachel's got a conscience. She'll keep them in line. Yeah, no, that
I
didn't
tried.
happen.
I tried.
That didn't happen at all, friends. That
I
really didn't happen at all.
Wild part.
As for your question, the sight is not a familial thing. It is not passed on through family. It is 100% based on trauma, right? It is 100% based on trauma. one of the very popular ones for Vaesen to do when you play a little bit later, like if we play past turn of the century in like the early 1900s and whatnot, right, is a lot of World War One people have the sight because they've seen the horrors of war and they've seen all that kind of stuff or whatever, right? So there is the whole thing is based around trauma. Generally, it has to do with you experienced some sort of traumatic event regarding or based around Vaesen. And that's how you can see them now. That's what breaks the veil for your eyes to be able to see. You know that's... What's that?
Did he have sight?
Who's that?
Wilhelm?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh,
I
that...
had a feeling, just the way
Breaker.
they walked in and
I
Remember,
wanted to kick him
Wilhelm-
in a place where
Wilhelm-
it does not shine.
Wilhelm is Liam's cousin,
that's
I
why
know.
right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's why I asked.
Yeah.
If it was familial, yeah. Really quick,
Mhm.
what was Viola's history?
What was your trauma? Tell us
What
what
was
your
your
trauma
trauma?
was.
Let's talk about trauma.
She saw a revenant rise,
Ooh.
and so she was. I had it where she was walking through a graveyard, just cutting through shortcut type of thing, and she heard something weird, and she turned and she sees this revenant rise, and she ran, and it ended up following her, and it can possess people.
Yes, it can.
So it did. And it possessed her father to kill her mother and then killed himself, and she's all alone. And so, but this thing got attached to her and follows her.
Yeah, it can get real interesting. It's great for long-term play. It's an excellent long-term play
That's
character.
so awesome and wild and crazy. My trauma was not as traumatic as your guys's. I wanted to write better books and better stories and know more so that I could then write more and sell more, of course. And ended up seeking a deal with some type of creature that gave me that, but also kind of cursed me with I see things, I do, but I also see things that aren't there a lot. And I totally think I'm going insane.
Do you have a hard time telling which is actually a Vaesen?
That's why I have a dog.
Yes.
It's if I see something and my dog doesn't respond, it's not there. If I do see something and my dog does respond, I need to be aware and scared of it.
I have a cat just because Hobo. And I was just like, Kitty.
Kitty, of course. Oh my goodness.
But with that, friends,
So fun.
Once again, thank you for joining us. Next week, we will be back to our regularly scheduled programming where John will be subjecting everybody to the Dark Sun, where they will, they call it Dark Sun, but it's really bright and it takes all your water. We've learned this.
It's true.
It is true. It is very
true. Dying of
true.
dehydration is not fun, folks.
No, it's not. But again, thank you, everybody. Thank you to all the raiders who came in and joined us throughout the stream. It was great for all of you to jump in and whatnot. I hope you all had fun. Make sure to catch us tomorrow night where we will have Lord Gazumba, Jay himself, and Anna B. Myers on, where we are going to talk about
Altamira.
Altamira.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Altamira.
You guys
and
are a fan of Tears of Aird.
Yeah, and
gotta
the
be there.
upcoming stuff coming with that. A lot of they mentioned it here first kind of stuff. So join myself, Rachel, and John tomorrow night for Lore Master Arcanum with Lord Gazumba and Anna B. Meyer. It's sure to be a good time. I'm sure it's going to be a wonderful conversation. And anytime Anna's around, it's always a good time.
I adore that woman with my entire being.
It is always a good time. But once again, friends, thank you all for joining us. Thank you for putting up with me as I took over BlueBox last Tuesday and this Tuesday. But if you like what you see, join us in the Discord. Let us know. And we'll keep going from there, friends. Once again, thank you all so much, and we will see you all here tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right, friends. Howdy.
Bye.